Hello, everybody. Good evening. I am really very happy to receive today our friend Sunil Sharan for the second time. He's an Indian. He spoke last time about Muslims and Hindus in India and with, also the relation with Christianity. And today I wanted him to explain to us what is the concept of the cow and the bull also in Hinduism. If you like, you can present yourself in 2 minutes and then please explain to us why the cow is so respected in India. Uh, what about the other animals? What do you do with it when it is sick? What do you do with the small, the yes, if there are so many cows, what do you do with them? Can you eat them? Uh, uh, and what do you do with when it is old?
Yeah.
So all these questions we are really very interested because we have never been in India, me at least, and I don't know anything about the cow. Just I read today an article in French about the cow in India, but I prefer to hear you. So
Yeah.
please, you are welcome.
Yeah. So I will leave from where I will start from where I left off last time.
Yes.
This was an interesting question. What is the status of the cow in Hinduism? Now, it is of much glee. It gives much glee to the Christians and the Muslims, and they make fun of Hinduism and the cow. Sacre vache en français, holy cow, sacred cow. They're always making fun of the Hindu
Yes.
and his faith in the cow. Some Muslims, I've been reading a lot. I spend quite some time on YouTube. There is one Pakistani woman. She's a famous media personality. She says, "Oh, you Hindus, you worship everything, dogs and cats and everything." And then we have an equally famous YouTuber called Sonam. You should look her up, Sonam Mahajan. And she says, yes, we worship everything, dogs and cats and whatnot. The problem is that there's a difference, fundamental difference between the two religions, between religions which are born in India, what we call Indic religions, and religions that came from outside, like Christianity and Islam and Zoroastrianism. The first thing is religions born in India, whether they were Hinduism or Buddhism or Sikhism or Jainism, they are all vegetarian. They're not vegan, but they're vegetarian. They will drink milk of the cow or other animals, goat milk, but they will not eat meat, right? So that is number one point difference between the Abrahamic religions like Christianity or Judaism or Islam, whereas you will eat almost anything. Of course, the Jews and the Muslims won't eat pork, but other than that, you will eat anything that moves. There's a saying I remember reading a book on Indian students about 100, years ago when they were going to the UK to study, just like Gandhi went in 1880 or something um, to study in the UK. Lots of Indians used to go to the UK at that time to study, right? And lots of Muslim students used to go too. Now, we know the history between the Jews and the Muslims, but the Muslims eat, they basically, the parents of the Muslims were very worried because they said the Christian eats anything, and my child, Muslim, cannot eat pork and can only eat pork cut in a certain way. And they found that actually the Jews follow the same practice as the Muslims. They don't eat pork, they eat meat cut in a certain way. So the parents were very relieved. And they told the children, oh, when you go in England, just eat what the Jews eat. Don't eat what the Christians eat, right? Because then you'll end up eating pork and everything else. So, point being, number one, the Indian religions are vegetarian. Whether you worship the cow, you don't worship the cow, it doesn't matter. They're vegetarian. Number two, forever, during the time of the Muslims, during the times of the British, India was an agrarian society. Basically, farming was the only way of producing money and sustenance. And if you see in India, even today, you'll find bullocks and ox tilling the field. You have the cow giving milk. So the cow and the ox, they assumed a sacred space in the Hindu's mind because they were the ones because of whom the Hindu could survive. They didn't have tractors then, they didn't have anything else to till the land. So because of the cow, the Hindu could survive, could cultivate his farm. And that's how this origination started. And I'm talking about 3,000, 5,000 years old. I'm not talking 1400, Prophet Muhammad, or 2000, or Jesus Christ. These are these are very young religions. I'm talking about 5,000, 10,000 years ago, when these practices of worshiping the cow and the bull started. The third reason actually is in Hinduism, we have no longer, but like the Christians have Protestants and Catholics and Orthodox, and they're all fighting between each other, not as much as before, but still fighting each other. The Muslims have the Shia and the Sunni who are fighting each other till they'll kill everybody, right? Um, Even we, Hinduism, had two sects. One was called Shaivite and other was called Vaishnavite. So Vaishnavite was the followers of Vishnu, God Vishnu. And Shaivite were the followers of God Shiva. So we have a trinity of gods in Hinduism. Uh, there's Vishnu, there's Brahma, and there is Shiv. Brahma is not worshipped for some reasons, but Shiv and Vishnu have been worshipped forever. There were big fights amongst these two groups thousands of years ago. And then Vishnu is supposed to have descended to earth in his eighth avatar. He is supposed to have descended 10 times. His eighth avatar is Hinduism's most beloved deity, or you can say most beloved God if you want, which is Krishna. Just like you have Hare Rama, Hare Krishna movement. So Krishna is Hinduism's most beloved God. And the cow, Krishna was born to a cowherd. His father was a cowherd. So he used to go and graze the cows in the fields when he was young. And a cow is a constant companion of Krishna. And that's why it has taken a sacred notion. Now, if you take Jesus, Jesus was a shepherd, right? Jesus was a shepherd. But Christians happily eat sheep. The younger, the better. Muslims do the same thing. Muhammad grew up with camels, but Muslims happily eat camels. The Hindus don't do that. Hindus say the cow is the constant companion of Lord Krishna, and we will not eat the cow because of that. On the other side, you have Shiv and his group followers called Shivite, and a bull called Nandi is the constant companion of Lord Shiv. The bull is the mount of Lord Shiv. So, from that perspective, also, the bull assumes sacred overtones for Hindus. Now, I'll tell you that there is nothing more pissing off to a Hindu than to be made fun of the cow. When we come to the West, people make fun, oh, sacred cow, sacred sakrabash, eat the steak, oh, you find the cow sacred. Nothing irritates a Hindu more, because nothing is more dear to a Hindu's heart than the cow. Because the cow is the constant companion of Krishna and of Shiva. And the cow basically, the whole farming is done because of the cow. So in days gone by, when the Muslims were ruling India, if they wanted to convert Hindus to Islam, they would give them a piece of beef to eat. And if you ate beef as a Hindu, you got converted to Islam. In fact, not even that. The tax collector would come to the farmer, the Hindu farmer. The tax collector was invariably Muslim. And the tax collector would ask the Hindu farmer for the tax. And if the Hindu farmer was late, the tax collector would spit in the mouth of the farmer. Now, having spit of a Muslim in your mouth meant that you have ingested cow meat. So the Hindu lost his caste and his religion and had to become a Muslim. So the history between Hindus and Muslims, especially, even the British and Hindus in India, right? But especially the Muslims who converted many more Hindus by force, is very, very tied to the cow. Today, if Muslims want to create a riot, they'll sever a cow's head and throw it inside a temple. Hindus, if they want to start a riot, they will kill a pig and throw it inside a mosque. This is a very emotive subject for Hindus, cow protection. Now, when the Constitution of India was being built, they took 3 years. They went and looked at all the best constitutions, including the French and the American, and of course the unwritten British Constitution. And they said basically the majority wanted cow protection. They wanted to ban cow slaughter for food. But people in the Northeast, in India, in the Northeast, they are mostly Christian. And they said if you ban cow slaughter, we will secede from India. So they had to listen to these people from the Northeast, and they couldn't ban cow slaughter. But what they did was, the Indian Constitution is broken into two parts. One is a fundamental right, like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. That's a fundamental right. And then it's something called directive principles of state policy. So anything that they didn't agree on, the Constituent Assembly, they just put it in the directive principle of state policy. Now, when Modi came to power 10 years ago, many of the states, so it's called directive principle of state policy. So the state means the province, provincia. When Modi came to power 10 years ago, the states ruled by his party, the BJP, the right-wing Hindu party, they immediately banned cow slaughter. So if you go to places like Rajasthan, even Delhi, even these are states, um Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, these are different states in India. You cannot eat beef. The only place where you will get beef in these places is a five-star hotel. Five-star hotels are allowed to serve beef in as much quantity as they want. Now, the flip side is banning cow slaughter was something which the Muslims were vehemently against, because beef was the cheapest meat available. Mutton, c'est pas mouton,
Eh,
c'est la viande de chèvre,
eh, eh, Sheeps, yeah.
mutton. Indians eat a lot of mutton.
Ah,
We don't eat sheep. We don't eat lamb.
ah, ah.
So we eat chicken, we eat mutton, and seafood, right? The Muslims before ate beef happily, and beef was cheaper than mutton. Mutton is red meat, beef is red meat. But when they banned the sale of beef in these states, the Muslims were very angry. So there's always some point of friction between the Hindus and the Muslims, sometimes even the Hindus and the Christians, but especially with the Muslims, right? And many Hindus will not go to a Muslim's house to eat food because they feel that they have eaten beef in the utensils. It's only when they're sure that this Muslim family does not eat beef at home will they go. My grandfather was a very rich man, one of the richest men in Delhi. And one day he was also a freedom fighter. One day he invited to his house a man called Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad became the president of India, the third president of India. So my father invited Ahmad to his house for dinner. My grandmother, she said, "You can't do it. I can't serve him. Because if I serve him, I'll have to throw all my utensils away." But the invitation had already gone out. So what my grandfather and grandmother decided was they bought a set of silver utensils for Ahmad, only for Ahmad. And silver utensils do not get dirty in the Hindu's mind. Brass or steel gets dirty, but not silver utensils. So they bought specifically because they did not want Ahmad to corrode their utensils. They bought silver utensils. This is the extent to which a Hindu will go to avoid eating beef. Now, it is also true, a person like me too, in the US, if you're a poor student, uh, sometimes you have to eat beef. Otherwise you'll be spending $20 per meal, and you cannot afford $20 a meal. So if you go out to a fast food place, you buy a burger or you buy a taco, and it has beef in it, you eat it. But in India, I will not eat beef. Even in the states where they serve beef, I will not eat beef. So there's a religious attachment to the cow. There's an economic attachment to the cow. I don't think that'll ever go away. The religions like Sikhism, the people who wear the turban, they are even more attached to the cow than the Hindu is. They will not touch cow meat anywhere. A Sikh will go hungry, but he will not eat cow meat. So the kine, as kine is another word for cow in English, kine. The kine is very dear to the heart of most people who are from Indic religions. Now we have to confront with 2%, 3% Christians, 15 to 20% Muslims who love to eat beef. And they will cry and moan and go to the press and wail and say, this is injustice, it's an infringement of my fundamental rights. It is not an infringement of the fundamental rights. But I have met many Muslims in India who will try to force me to eat beef. Right? So I think it's a very emotive subject. I don't think there is any other subject more emotive between Hindus and Muslims than the cow. Now, the problem with cow protection is you have to have cow shelters to look after them. And there are many more cows than there are cow shelters. So very often, even in Delhi, you will find a cow roaming around the street, eating some plastic. When you have cow shelters, they're looked after fairly well till they dotage, till they get old, and then they're typically handed over to the Muslims because the Muslims dominate the leather trade, and they know how to kill them, and they know how to take out the leather from the animal. So the Hindu says, the cow looks after me from childhood with milk to its death with leather. How can I eat such an animal? Right? So they're still trying to figure out, it's still a very contentious issue. In the Northeast, Modi's government has said very clearly, we will allow you to eat the cow without any problem, because the Northeasterners have said we will secede from India. Awakite land, Sio Ana Manashpa du Buffer. So North India is secured. South India, parts of South India are the same. In parts of South India, the Hindus eat the cow too. It's common for the Hindus to eat the cow. But for much of the rest of India, the cow is sacred. And the Hindu is awfully wed to his religion. Because what the Hindus remain Hindu like me, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, They must have borne a lot of atrocities, Muslim atrocities and Christian atrocities, to stay Hindu. They must have taxes levied on them. They must have endured beatings. They must have endured all kinds of other taxes. But they said, no, we're going to stay Hindu. So for me, the central tenet of my faith is not to eat beef. And when I can eat so many other things, and I look back at the sacrifices my ancestors made to stay Hindu. After all, when the Muslims came to India, there was zero in population. Now, if you take the subcontinent, there are 600 million Muslims. And there are about 1.2 billion Hindus, give or take a few. So the Muslims are half the population of the Hindus. Now the Muslims say, oh, no, we didn't do anything wrong to you. If we really wanted to slaughter you and use the sword to convert you and behead you to convert you, there would be no Hindus left. But the answer is, can you imagine that a country, nation of India, in the olden times, had 400 million people, 300 million people, out of which 1/3 of those people are Muslim. Half of those people are Muslim. Can you imagine the amount of conversion that must have taken place? That today you have 600 million Muslims in the Indian subcontinent, which is Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. 600 million Muslims. And in India, you have 1.2 billion Hindus. So can you just imagine the amount of conversion that has taken place? You could not completely efface the Hindu population, but you removed half of the Hindu population. Right? So the point is, the Hindu who's Hindu today is very wed to his religion. And as I said, the cow is a central principle of that religion. So for a Hindu, it's very hard to understand why a Christian or a Muslim finds it so funny that we don't eat the cow. Jesus was a shepherd. And Christians happily eat the babiest of veals, the smallest amount of lamb, the youngest possible lamb that they can eat. They have no respect for Jesus, that Jesus was a shepherd. We should not, shepherd was, being a sheep was being close to Jesus. They have no respect for that. They just like the taste of the sheep and they eat it. I also sometimes like the taste of beef, but I don't eat it because the cow is so close to my gods. So we actually turn around and think, we say we are a much more evolved religion, that we are able to restrain ourselves from eating beef. Whereas the Christians, the Muslims, they'll eat anything. And Muslims won't eat pork. But apart from that, they'll eat anything. They'll eat camel. I see when the big thing happens in Pakistan with the Eid, Ramazan, Bakr Eid, not Ramazan, Bakr Eid, where they slaughter animals. They'll take huge camels and slaughter camels. And then they'll take all the meat of the camels and store it in the huge fridge. And they eat it all year round. They have no concept that the Prophet rode the camel. The camel is the ox of the desert. Without the camel, the whole desert economy would have collapsed. in days gone by, even today, they have no respect for that. So we look back and say, hey, don't make fun of us not eating beef. You look at yourself, Christians and Muslims, right? And see how you are being guided. You are leaving no restraint on yourself. The restraints you put on yourself, Islam puts on itself, are laughable. You can eat any meat except pork. You can have 4 wives at the same time. So the wife is giving you the most pleasure. You're going to sleep with her. Then they say, no, the Quran says each wife gets equal bedtime. Really? No, each wife doesn't get equal bedtime in practicality. In practicality, the wife who gives the most pleasure to the husband gets the most bedtime. So you don't follow. There's so many things in the Quran or the Bible that if you follow, you'll be following your religion. But you don't follow it. In the Quran, it says you cannot get married the second time without the permission of the first wife. Which Muslim takes the permission of the first wife to get married the second time? It doesn't happen. And then they lecture the whole world. The Quran says this. The way I see religion is, and I'm quite religious. As I told you, I pray to Jesus Christ as well. The way I see religion is not what is written in your holy book, in the Gita, in the Quran, in the Bible, in the whatever the Jews have, the Torah. It is not what is written there, and you just say, oh, it's written in my book, so I don't do it. I should do it. It's how you practice yourself. How you practice what your book is preaching. Your book is saying something, you're doing something totally different. And then you're saying, I'm a true Muslim. So I really think that much of the problems of the world will go away. Number one. Number two, I'll give you a story. When I was living in Atlanta in the US, I was part of a Hindu religious order. Right? I had a guru and preachers. And one day in our room, service room, one young girl, about 10 years old, she started crying to the preacher. He said, they make fun of my religion at school. Right? So the preacher, who was well experienced, she had lived in Canada all her life, she said, oh, it must be Muslims or Christians who are making fun of you. Because Jews don't make fun of Hindus. And of course, it was either the Muslim or the Christian who was making fun of the girl. Right? Making fun of her religion, making fun of her basically making fun of her religious practices, right? And the point being is, if religions and people who are part of religions, human beings, first thing they decide that I'm not going to point my finger at the other religion or the practice, because 3 fingers point back at me. They only do it because they feel good about themselves. That is not what religion teaches, to feel good about yourself. But they make fun of respective religions. Somebody's making fun of the prophet and his wives. Somebody's making fun of Jesus Christ, walks on water. Somebody's making fun of this. Somebody's making fun of that. So I think the solution to the discord that we see amongst the different religions around the world is to respect the differences. That's easily said. That's just a cliche. But first thing first is You restrict yourself to your own religion. You don't look over the window at the neighbor and see what the neighbor is doing. You stay in your house, in your garden, you open your book, your Quran, your Bible, your Gita, and you follow that. And you stop worrying what a Christian is doing and what a Muslim is doing and what a Hindu is doing. You see, in this part of this religious order, they decided because California textbooks, they had a lot of wrong pejorative mo, controle Hindu. So I did not take part in that effort, but my colleagues, they went and took part in that effort. Standard 6 book, history book, being taught in California schools on Hinduism. The title was, Where's the Beef? Where's the Beef? That is the title of an official Californian book being taught to six standard students. Even I, who am very laid back about my religion, even I was offended. So, just because we migrate to different lands, foreign lands, Christian lands, sometimes even Muslim lands, right? That doesn't mean we have to follow or give up our religion and our practices. Just because we've come as an economic migrant to your land. And that's why the Hindu has been the butt of these jokes, because the Hindu has been ruled over for 600 years by the Muslim consecutively and 200 years by the British consecutively. But the Hindu is very strong in his religious conviction. I was reading a book in which a pastor, a Christian pastor, who was trying to convert Hindus, he said, no, the only way to convert these guys is to hit a rod against the ears. They will not convert to Christianity peacefully. So I think I've covered most of what was needed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, thank you, really, Sunil. As I told you, really, I have a lot to learn from you. I appreciate your presence in our proletarian channel. You are a very important person for us because we ignore completely what is happening in your large country. I have some questions, my dear.
Yes.
First of all, what, how many Muslims live in India, not Pakistan, not Bangladesh, but India itself? How many Muslims live?
Um, so
I don't hear
it's a
you.
controversial subject.
I don't hear you very well. How many
Yeah,
Muslims then? Yes.
yeah, yeah. Combien de musulmans habitent en Inde? C'est un
We,
topic, c'est une question assez controverse parce que le census d'État says 200 million, 200
okay.
million.
Okay. Another question.
But actually it is 250 million.
250 millions.
Yeah, it's actually 250 million. It's between 200 to 250 million.
Okay.
The government is suppressing Muslim numbers so that
Aha.
they do not cause fear
Yeah.
amongst the Hindus.
Okay. I understand. Now, do you eat chicken?
Yeah.
Do you eat chicken?
Yes, we.
Do you eat lambs?
I don't like lamb.
Yeah, but
I can eat lamb. I don't like the taste of lamb.
yeah. So for you, the only animal that you cannot eat is the cow and the bull.
Cow and the bull, yes, exactly.
Oh, but all other animals you can eat them.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Because I did not understand this question. What happens when a cow is old? Uh, uh, what do you do with it?
Yeah, so basically, old cows, those are living in shelters, they get looked after till they are put down. And as I told you, they are given to the leather trade. The leather trade is dominated by Muslims.
yeah,
So they skin the cow alive and get the leather. Very often, you do find in Indian cities, especially old cows roaming around. And that's because of politicians who are animal friendly. They refuse to send these cows to the pen, to the cow shelter.
yeah.
So we have a big problem with dogs also in Delhi. That a major politician, she is very friendly to animals,
Ah,
but she won't let any dog be killed.
ah.
So Delhi is full of dogs.
It is forbidden to kill dogs in India.
No, no, it's not forbidden.
Ah,
This politician, she
ah,
has made it forbidden.
ah. Okay, okay. Do you have what is your profession? What do you do in your life, Sunil?
I am a professional writer.
Professional writer. Okay. You live with that, or do you have another profession?
No, I don't have another profession.
Uh, okay, okay. You are free. You are free. Okay. You are a writer. You are a writer.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
writer.
Yeah, yeah. How many books did you write?
I've written 18 books.
Yes.
I've written over 600 articles.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not focused completely on books
Yes.
because there's no money in newspaper articles.
Yes.
So I just changed my agent
Yes.
from an old agent. He was an old man who was not doing anything,
Yeah.
and I found a new agent. She's very proactive.
Uh,
So I'm hoping that this year I'm able to sell two books.
yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Now, uh, uh, yeah. Okay. Uh, uh, what are the norms about mixed marriages in India? Is Indo a woman can get married with a Muslim legally?
Yeah, legally she can marry, but that is along with cow protection, along with the cow. This is the second most contentious debate in India.
Uh-huh.
That's why I sent you the topic of the discussion should be love in the time of jihad.
Yes,
So love jihad
yes,
term coined in India, where Muslim men are taking away Hindu women and getting married to them and converting them. And it is true. It is true. It is happening. Whereas Hindu man cannot get married to a Muslim woman without conversion to Islam. I've had,
mhm,
I've had Muslim women tell me, I want to marry you. But if you don't convert to Islam, it's not possible. It's a shirk. It's forbidden.
mhm, mhm.
Whereas the Hindu woman will marry the Muslim guy and convert to Islam. So this is a very, very, very delicate topic in India. Because how the Muslims increased their tribe was they used to catch Hindu women, rape them, marry them, not marry them, do whatever them, and that's how they. Because the Muslim came as an invader, he didn't come with women. He caught hold of all the Indian women. Over time, the Hindu woman became scared of the Muslim man. They started
Yeah,
burning themselves.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
I understand. Uh, what is the proportion of Christians in India?
3%.
How much?
12%.
3%. It means almost 60 million Christian or
Yeah,
less.
yeah.
Six, 60 million Christians. Okay. What are the relations between Christians and Hindus? Are they more friendly relations than the relation between Muslims and Hindus?
Yeah, they are much more friendly. Hindus will not mind so much if their daughter or son marries a Christian, either from India or from overseas.
Yeah,
Christians do a lot of public service in India. From the
yes,
time of the British, they
yes,
set up these convent schools, which are
yes,
Christian schools.
yes,
I went to a convent school myself.
yes,
Uh, so they still run a lot of convent schools all over the country.
yes,
They run hospitals.
yes.
Um,
Universities,
they run some universities too. I think so. Yes, colleges and universities. They teach English. So there's a lot of goodwill towards Christians. I don't remember a Hindu Christian riot ever happening in this country. There's a lot of even the poor Hindu goes to schools run by the Christian. So there's a lot of feeling for the Christian.
okay, okay.
On the
There
other
is
hand,
there
sorry,
is a question of our friend. Read it if you can. What happens with a bull that is hyper and hit people with its horns?
what it does to Edward Jonathan, that bull comes and gores you with its horns in your balls and sends you to heaven. That's what happens.
Will send you to heaven. What happens if somebody kills a cow? What is the punishment?
If you're a Hindu, there is not much punishment. There will be a case registered against you in the states where cow slaughter is forbidden. That's only 10 states out of 30 states in India. So if somebody slaughters a cow in those states where cow slaughter is forbidden, then there'll be a police case registered against you. If you're Muslim and you're caught in the act of slaughtering the cow in those states where cow slaughter is forbidden, you better pray for your life. Yeah,
What happens?
that,
What happens to a Muslim who slaughters a cow in these special states? What happens to him? He
what
will be
happens to
killed.
whom?
They will, if a Muslim slaughters a cow in these particular states. What
Yeah,
happens really?
if he's caught slaughtering the cow and a mob collects, they might even kill him. Yeah, mob justice is very common in India. They don't wait for the law to take its course and the proper matter to be reported to the police station and then to the court and all that. If some people see a Muslim, obvious Muslim with a
Yes,
beard
yes,
and a skull cap,
yes.
and he's killing a cow, a mob can collect, and it's very dangerous for the Muslim.
Okay, okay. So, okay, okay. I understand you. Okay. Uh, 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 are there? What happens if
Let,
a
let me
cow?
answer this. Let me answer this question,
Yes.
Edwards, seriously. What happens to the bull that is hyper and hit people with its horns? Well, they put down such a bull. So it's not like a bull that is posing injury to or death to people. They will put down the bull. They'll shoot him or whatever, whichever way they hit the forehead of the bull with an injection or whatever. But they'll put down the bull. They won't
Aha.
let a bull just
Aha.
go around hyper killing people.
Aha. Okay. Okay. I understand. I heard that there are circulation incidents because of the cows and the bulls in India. Is this correct?
What incidents?
Circulation, transport in the city, and so on. The cars. Do you have problems with the cows in the cities because of the cars and so on?
No, no, there's not. The major problem is with the traffic because the cars
The
will come in
traffic.
front of the traffic,
The traffic.
in front of the traffic,
Yes.
and the cow is very used to living on the road, or the minder of the cow has left the cow outside on the
Yes.
street to
Yes.
eat all kinds of flowers and on the road or whatever,
Yes.
and then he'll pick her up at the night. But the
Aha.
cow is very used to traffic. So the
Aha.
cow is not scared of traffic. You might keep honking, honking, honking.
Yeah.
The,
And people like the cows, they will not hit the cows.
they won't hit the cow, and then they'll just keep honking, honking. The cow is a very placida,
Yeah.
an animal très placida.
Aha. Okay. Okay.
It
Okay.
won't move. The traffic will get held up. Foreigners find it very funny to see cows on the street.
Yeah. Okay. So I will give the link to the people who are hearing our video. So if they like to intervene and to ask you, they can do it. I will tell them in Arabic. إذا حد منكم حاب يتدخل هذا هو الرابط تفضلوا تدخلوا. So I said here is the link if somebody would like to intervene to ask our friend Sunil. He will certainly be very happy to answer to your question. Uh, 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 okay. Here another question. I don't know what does he mean. Do you read the question? Yes.
Yeah, I think he's being cute.
Huh?
He's being unnecessarily facetious. Il devient très facetious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ils ont des questions vraiment pires.
Provocant. Oui, oui. Okay. I will mask it. I will mask it. Okay. Saleh Fakhreddin would like to say something. Okay, Saleh Fakhreddin, please speak. Please in English, so it is better for us.
Hello, good evening for all people in the channel and for your guest.
Thank you.
Uh, a small question. I would like to ask if there is a transferring from Hindus to Muslims and the next or the opposite. This is
It
the
means
question.
the conversion. You mean the conversion.
Yeah.
Yes. Are there conversions from Hindus to Islam and
Conversion, yes,
and,
conversion,
and the
yes.
opposite? And the opposite.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you have to understand for many Hindus, Islam is a hated religion, and Muslims are a hated people for what they did to Hindus for 700 years. So now that the Hindus have regained majority of their country, they are in no mood to convert to Islam because we consider Islam a backward religion. We consider Islam a retrogressive religion.
Oh,
We Hindus aspire to be like the West, Hindus in India. We want to be like America. We want to be like Switzerland. We want to be like France. We don't want to be like Saudi Arabia. We are very clear. We are very clear on that. We don't want our women walking around in tents. Our women are more than welcome to walk around in miniskirts, but they're not welcome to walk around in tents. It's
yes,
just the reality that a
yes,
Muslim person faces today without looking in the mirror. What is there about Islam that would be attractive to a Hindu person like me? Nothing. There is nothing attractive about Islam. Islam is fighting with every religion. Islam is fighting with the Jews. Islam is fighting the Christians. Islam is fighting with the Hindus. Islam is fighting with the Buddhists. Islam is fighting with every. Is there any one religion
uh-huh.
that is
Yeah,
not that Islam is not fighting with? All
yes,
the other religions, they're living peacefully. In the
yes,
UK, they want to kick out the Muslims. They want to keep the Hindus.
yes,
Wherever the Muslim goes, he creates problems. Where
yes,
was the need for Hamas to have launched this attack on October 7th?
yes.
Now, don't give excuses and, oh, they were not there and they did it on purpose. And no. We know what happened.
Uh,
We also
uh,
see the news.
Sunil, are there are conversions from Islam to Hinduism?
No, not at all.
Just a question. If I would like to be adopt your religion, can I do it?
Yeah, you can do it. But I do not proselytize. I do not evangelize Hinduism.
No.
Right? I'm like Judaism. We don't proselytize our religion. You can convert, but I am not coming to you with a dawat like the Muslim
Now. Okay.
or the Christian and
Yes.
say, oh, you know what, convert to my religion. You will see the God's eye. We don't do that,
Okay.
and
But
that is
are there conversions from Islam and Christianity to Hinduism?
nobody wants to convert to Islam. Number one, okay,
Okay.
in India. Number two. Um, Islam people don't want to convert to any other religion because leaving Islam causes death, right?
Okay.
It's a guilt of apostasy. So no
Yes.
Muslim leaves Islam.
Yes.
And there is very little migration between Hindus and Christians.
Aha. Okay. Okay. Your answer was very clear. It is interesting that you don't try to convert people to your religion. Okay. Now, Hamid bin Hammo. Hamid bin Hammo would like to ask you also some questions. Please speak, Hamid.
Here, Dr. Sami, to your guest, Mr. Sharan, and Mr. Salah, and all friends in here. I have some question, if you don't mind to reply me. Do Hindus Muslim makes the dawah in India? If yes, what is the government and population reaction?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. The Muslims make dawat in India quite openly.
Okay.
The common Hindu does not like to see that happening.
And can they enter in political life and represent their community? Are the Muslim living in community or disparate anyone anywhere? Have they the same culture or they come from different Muslim country? So that's it will be easy maybe to integrate them in the Hindu society.
No. Indian Muslims are already integrated into Indian society because Indian Muslims are converts from Hinduism. It is only in the last 10, 15 years that this trend of burqa and face tent and hijab and all these things have become very, very prominent. Previously, I never
Yeah,
saw so many women in the burqa, in the black burqa, right?
yeah,
I live in a Muslim neighborhood. I live near a very famous Muslim shrine, and my next door neighbor is Muslim. And we have actually two azans, two loudspeakers blare out two azans. I like the sound of the azan, but when there are two, then they cross each other, and you're
okay.
not able to get the music from either one. But where I live, there are two azans on the dot, 5 times a day. Um, the Muslims have all the rights to pray. They misuse those rights. They do
But
namaz on the road.
have they the right to kill sheep in a feast of sheep يعني la fête du mouton?
Yes.
Est-ce qu'ils ont le droit de tuer le mouton?
Do you understand, Sunil?
No, pardon, encore une fois.
Est-ce que les musulmans ont le droit de tuer les moutons à la fête du mouton?
Oui, on peut tuer le mouton ce qu'on veut.
Oui, d'accord. Et donc, ils ont le droit de faire la fête du mouton en Inde. Okay. What is really the reaction of Hindus in front of the adhan? Are they do they find it troublesome, or okay, they tolerate it? What is the situation in India?
Well, India is a secular country. We are not a Jewish state.
Yes.
We are not a Christian state. We are a secular country. Even though Modi is right wing, he's in power, but our constitution is secular.
Yeah.
And Hindus are, I hate to tom my own horn, but Hindus are very accommodating. If they hear in the neighborhood that a Muslim man has married a Muslim Hindu woman, they will not go and protest. They will not protest the azan. 24 times, 24/7, azan is blaring outside my house. But no Hindu will go to the mosque and say, lower the volume. So Hindus are traditionally very accommodating, because they had to be accommodating because they were the slaves.
Yeah.
And now they are the rulers.
Yeah. But still they are accommodating.
Yeah, that is the most important, even in our religion. It teaches us that there are many different paths to God. It does not say Hinduism is the only path to God. It says there are many different paths to God. You can be Christian, you can be Muslim, you can be Buddhist, you can be Sikh, you can be Hindu. There are many different paths to God. And we also say the world is our village. That means we accept people from everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Because as in Switzerland, they wanted to build the minarets in Switzerland, because
Yeah,
also they were afraid they will make adhan. We have a popular initiative, and we forbade in the constitution to build any minarets in Switzerland. It is forbidden in Switzerland to
yeah,
build minarets
yeah.
because
I've
they
read that.
don't. And I participated in this initiative against the minarets because
Oh,
I said
wow.
that the constitution guarantees the right to pray, not to cry.
Right,
This is what I said. You can pray whatever, uh, wherever you like, but you don't have the right to cry, because
right,
this will trouble people, you see. And Swiss people are normally quiet people. They don't like to have minarets crying 5 times a day. They will get crazy if they hear so noisy azan. Okay. If other peoples would like to intervene, please do it, uh, because it is a rare situation in which we have a guest from India. He knows very well his religion and his country, and we have a lot to learn from him. This is important, and I would like Sunil, next time, if you allow it, to explain us what your religion is, how it happens that you have so many gods. And I would like to know how many gods there are, at least. How many gods, how they cohabitate among themselves. Hinduism accepts also Allah and Jesus Christ, and I don't know who other gods and so on. So we are interested in the next video, whenever you have time, to learn from you. You see,
yeah,
because really you are a precious person for us. You open our horizons, and this is
yeah.
important. When you have a closed horizon, you become fanatic. You
Right,
see, if you have to an open horizon, so you can see that others can be different. You see that we have to accept each other, and we can cohabitate it despite the differences. So I am. You cannot imagine how happy am I to receive you in our channel. We really appreciate your presence in our channel. I think it is the same with all those who participate in the chat in our channel. Uh, so please feel yourself uh, at home.
okay. I am.
Yeah, yeah. I would like you to consider this channel as yours.
Okay,
Uh, uh, and I say it to everybody because this is a proletarian channel. It's a proletarian channel. To everybody who does not have a channel, can consider the channel his own channel. So we can open the minds. When we created this channel, it is mine, but I say it is not mine, it is ours channel. Why we created it? Because one day there was a sheikh who was our guest even later, who was discussing in the Egyptian television with a lawyer. And during the discussion, they pat each other with the shoes. They pat each other with the shoes. And the journalist was really the poor man. they destroyed the studio and so on. They could not speak to each other quietly, you see, and said we have to learn how to speak, how to hear to each other. And this sheikh came to us, and we did, I think, 5 videos with him. We never bat him. He was always respected. So, uh, as we say in our channel,
Yeah,
the
so
love.
so I'm seeing a couple of comments.
Yes,
I'm seeing a couple of comments from this guy who says India is not a secular country, and I would like to answer that question.
yes, please. Look, see the questions and answer whatever you like to answer, please.
So, where is he from? Is he Arabic?
Uh, I don't know where they come from, but mainly they come from the Arab countries, yes, or say North Africa or the yes, because you see
Yeah.
many people from
So
North
I will
Africa.
just I will just tell you, like, you come from some Arabic country or North African country, and you are sitting in judgment on India's not a secular country. Uh, I would say first comes first. You should look at your own mirror in your country, wherever you're from, Egypt or wherever you're from, and see how secular your country is. I can tell you 3, 4 names that I know. There's Mr. MBS in Saudi Arabia. He's well known for decapitating journalists, bringing them into his embassy in Turkey and killing them. You have the UAE guy. He's still okay, except his wife keeps divorcing his wives. Now he's on to his 6th or 7th wife, right? He's getting older and older, and the wife is getting younger and younger, right? And then you have your Sisi. I've been to Egypt. Egypt is a rubbish country, totally rubbish, no economy, nothing. And you have this dictator who's one of the richest politicians in the world, Sisi. So I'm not sure how secular Egypt is. So the point I'm making to you is, before you make statements like India is not secular, look at your own country first.
Okay, you are right, Sunil.
I have a last question,
Yes,
Dr. Sami,
yes,
is
please,
it
Habib.
possible?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sharon, for your reply. And listening to you, we know that you have traveled all over the world, and you have seen a lot of community of Muslim all over the world. Have you noticed that there are many differences between Muslims, and which community you prefer in the world? Is it in France, in America, in Saudi Arabia, in Afghanistan, in India? Which community you find that it's cool and easy to live with? And thank you very much.
Yeah, so I think the answer is pretty simple. The easy country to live for a Muslim is India, but India does not have as many resources as something like the United States does, right? France is a total no-no. I've lived in France. You don't want to be a Muslim and live in France, okay? Um, you don't want to be a Muslim and live in Switzerland, right? Mr. Dr. Aldeep will testify, right? You don't want to be a Muslim and live in Germany. The German breed is a Nazi breed. You know, they have a Nazi gene. It never goes away, right? From my experience of Muslim friends that I've had, the best place It's also going through a lot of churn, anti-Muslim sentiment, but still laws are in place and opportunities are there. Is basically the United States. So that is my experience. I lived in the United States for 26 years,
Yeah.
and United States gets a lot of criticism, especially from the Muslims. But the Muslims criticize everybody, so that is not rare. If United States wants to do a Muslim travel ban, then the Muslims cry about that. They want to do something else, they cry about that. So crying Muslim is a symbol of the pious Muslim. As they cry on in their azan, so they cry and find faults with all the countries they go to. They find faults. In India, they find faults. I mean, the point is, why would you leave Pakistan and go to United States to find faults with? You know the situation in Pakistan. You know the situation in Afghanistan. If you get a chance to get out of these countries, you go. You go to freaking Nigeria, where you don't live in these countries, right? So if you get a chance to go to Europe, even France, or you got a chance to go to the United States and Canada, of course, you also have to learn to integrate. Not just you. Okay, you can wear a shirt and a pant, but your wife should not be going around in a tent with you. People watch that. People are suspicious. This is the time of terror. The whole world is fighting. People are scared that that person who's wearing the tent, there might be a bomb under the tent. So you have to let your daughters wear proper clothes, not put them into Arabic clothes or South Asian clothes, whatever the school dress is, whatever the school allows. You have to. You came. You had a choice to come. Nobody forced you to come to the United States. So since you had a choice to come, you also have to respect local customs. That's the way I have led my life. I don't like the United States. My favorite country is France, right? For different reasons. Nothing to do with because I find French girls very pretty. That's my favorite country is France, right? But over time in the United States, I learned, you are here, they're giving you shelter, they're giving you a job. Why do you have to be angry about everything?
Okay.
All that will happen is you'll get a brain aneurysm and you'll be dead. If you're unhappy all the time in the United States, in the car, at home, in the office, my rosa won't happen, this thing won't happen, that thing would happen, Bakra Eid, I can't kill people on the street, animals. If everything makes you unhappy about a place, then something might go wrong with your brain. You have to look out for your own protection as well and for the protection of the family. So integration in the United States, nobody's asking you to integrate at all. Nobody's converting you. They're allowing you to go to your mosque anytime you want. Anybody who tells you otherwise is talking baloney. It's a very free society based on laws. But they also want you to speak good English and basically I've laid out the land for you, right? Similarly, you go to France, you should not be running after a French girl. The minute you land in France, you're like running after making girlfriends, right? You landed in France, learn the language, learn the culture, get an education, and if you meet some girl, you meet some girl. So it's just it's your attitude more than anything else. It's not so much the country's attitude.
Okay. So, if I understand you well, Sunil, your favorite country is France,
Yeah, La Belle France.
La France, uh,
La Belle France, oui, c'est
La
vrai.
belle France, La belle
Oui.
France. Okay.
Parce que
So,
elle a les plus jolies filles dans le monde entier. C'est tout. Je
Alors,
suis intéressé
bonsoir,
par les filles.
bonsoir de France.
Yeah, c'est
okay,
simple.
okay,
Sylvie,
okay.
je te dis bonsoir de France.
Le
Je
bonsoir,
Uh,
monsieur.
t'envoie un peu de parfum de France. Je suis en France.
Hamid bin Hammo is speaking from France. He's
Ok,
speaking from,
super.
okay, okay.
Super.
Yes, he
And
is
thank you
Moroccan
for
living in France. Yes, he Moroccan living
Hamid,
in France.
I have one advice for you.
Yes.
thank you very much for
No,
your replay and for
j'ai
being with us. We are happy to know you.
j'ai un petit conseil pour vous.
Oui, oui, dis.
Are you
Allez-y,
there?
Oui.
allez-y.
This Free Palestine logo that you put, please take it out.
Why?
Why? Because it immediately types you as somebody who's an extremist.
Dis-le
Okay.
en français là parce que j'ai du mal à suivre l'accent
Il dit,
en anglais.
il dit, oui, il estime que tu dois supprimer cette enseigne que tu mets sur ton profil Free Palestine parce qu'ils vont te taxer d'être un extrémiste.
Oui, oui, oui.
Oui, oui,
C'est vrai que beaucoup de gens sont dans les tribunaux parce que ils défendent la Palestine libre. Mais
oui,
bon, moi je suis un vieux de la vieille, hein. Et qu'est-ce que tu veux qu'il m'arrive maintenant?
oui,
Rien.
oui, 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 c'est sûr, c'est
Je
sûr.
le pense, je le mets sur mon profil. Celui qui est content, il est content. Et celui qui
Oui,
n'est pas content, il a qu'à déposer plainte. Et j'irai dire que moi, je connais l'histoire de la Palestine et j'explique. Voilà.
voilà, tu as
Okay.
raison, tu as raison.
Ciao, ciao.
Okay, okay. Sunil, I am really very happy to have you for the second time, and I hope you will come back again to speak about what is Hinduism. This is important for me, at least. I suppose it is also important for the audience. Uh, Please, you have the last 5 minutes for you. You can say whatever you like. And so we finish this registration. Please, for you the time. Yes.
Oui, je veux dire seulement que
Say it in English. So it is because the majority of the great part of the video is in English. Yes.
yeah, so I personally, even though I'm quite religious, I'm not very religious. In my life, I've seen people who are very religious. They are the biggest con, they're the biggest assholes. And the people who are not religious, they are really good people, right? So the one thing I would just say is if I were you, Hamid is open to his interpretation, is to not make religion or nation the cornerstone of your being. Your identity should not just be religion, or it should not just be a nation. You have so many things, talents within you that you can express. You can be a writer, you can be a pianist, you can be whatever you want to. You can be a student, you can be a lawyer. There are so many things that exist within you that if you just put the lid of nation or religion on everything in your life, you may not achieve much. There is the temporal world and there is the religious world. The temporal world is where we earn our money, our profession, our job, our language, our family. That's our temporal world. And then there is the spiritual world. Who has seen God? Nobody has seen God. So if I was a betting man, I would put my money on the temporal world. Because I can see it, I can feel it. But I'm not saying you should not be religious because I am religious. But I'm saying that a balance between the two and an openness to other cultures, other religions. Like I'm very impressed. I wouldn't say now, but before, I was very impressed by how religious Muslims are. Now I'm not religious, very religious myself, so I've lost that, admiration. So that's all I would say is just, the joys of life, like the French say, les trucs de bon vivre, a bouteille de vin, quelque chose comme ça, n'importe quoi, foie gras, les trucs pour bien vivre. You should not forget those things are as important as going to the mosque or the church or the temple. This is what I feel.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your words. I really appreciate your culture. And I am really, I would like that you come back again to teach us about your religion because I don't know anything about Hinduism. So this is important for me to learn.
Okay, I will do that. It is getting late. It's 1 o'clock my time.
Yes. Okay. So I wish you a good night and see you again. Thank you, Sunil. Goodbye.
Send me the video.
Yes, I
Merci,
will
bonne
send you.
nuit,
Only,
bonne
only,
nuit.
only. I will send you the videos. Okay. Goodbye, my dearest. Goodbye.
Bye
مع
bye.
السلامة. مع السلامة.